You've probably heard of Warsaw, Krakow, or Gdansk. But what about Łomża and Białystok? Tucked away in northeastern Poland, these are places many travelers simply pass through. Yet both cities have fascinating stories worth telling. On our journey east, we explored Gothic cathedrals, archaeological remains from a past long gone, the magnificent Branicki Palace, often called the Versailles of the North, as well as one of the region's largest multicultural festivals, celebrating the music, traditions, and identities that continue to shape Eastern Poland today. From great food and cafe culture, to layers of history shaped by war, reconstruction, and cultural exchange, this is an episode about taking the path less traveled through Poland and discovering just how rewarding it can be. Leaving Masuria behind, we continued east along quiet country roads cutting through forests and farmland. One thing we kept noticing along the way was the storks. Their nests sat on poles in village after village, sometimes so many that it felt as though there were more storks living there than people. These roads eventually brought us to Łomża, a city shaped by centuries of history, yet rarely mentioned outside this part of Poland. After arriving there around lunchtime, we were pleasantly surprised to find free parking just a short walk from the city center. Our first stop was Łoki, an excellent Thai restaurant, where we ordered a selection of dishes including sambal chicken, duck and tempura, and pad thai with shrimp. A delicious start to our time in the city. With lunch taken care of, it was time to explore the city. We started our tour at Stary Rynek, the old market square, which has served as the heart of the city for centuries. This place has witnessed many chapters of Łomża's history come and go. Beneath the square are the remains of the former town hall that was once the center of municipal life and a symbol of the city's self-government. Above ground is the modern city, rebuilt and reshaped after the devastation of the Second World War. Between the past and the present lies the story of the people who lived here, including the large Jewish population that used to call Łomża home, until the Holocaust transformed the social fabric of the city forever. Yet, despite everything that has happened, Stary Rynek remains the focal point of Łomża, just as it has for generations. Continuing into Łomża's side streets, it felt like we were getting a glimpse of Poland beyond the tourist trail, away from the crowds and major attractions, in a place where everyday life takes center stage. Our walk eventually brought us to the Cathedral of St. Michael the Archangel. Rising above the surrounding streets, it has been part of Łomża's skyline for more than 500 years. While much of the city underwent significant changes through the events of the 20th century, the cathedral endured. Damaged during the war, but ultimately preserved. Inside, Gothic foundations blend with later additions, reflecting the many eras through which the building has passed. Few places in Łomża make the city's long history feel quite so tangible. Eventually, we found ourselves back near the market square, where we stopped at the White Bear Coffee for a cappuccino and mango chia dessert, the perfect excuse to linger a little longer before getting back on the road. Then it was time to continue east towards Białystok, the largest city in northeastern Poland, where we arrived in the late afternoon. Our first stop in Białystok was Branicki Palace. The palace owes its appearance largely to Jan Klemens Branicki, who was one of the richest and most influential men in 18th century Poland. He transformed Białystok into a center of aristocratic life. Branicki even entertained ambitions of becoming king, and the palace leaves little doubt about the image he wanted to project. This wasn't just a place to live, it was a powerful statement of wealth, influence, and prestige. The palace was Branicki's stage, a place where he could present himself to the world. Even today, the scale of that ambition is hard to miss. Walking around to the rear of the palace, we found ourselves in the magnificent gardens that have become one of the defining symbols of the city. Białystok is the largest city in northeastern Poland. Right now, I'm standing outside the city's main attraction, Branicki Palace, which has also been called the Versailles of the North. And I think it's easy to see why, because of its beautiful Baroque architecture and the magnificent French gardens that surround it. The comparison doesn't feel entirely misplaced. The gardens were inspired by the great Baroque residences of Western Europe and designed to impress visitors from the moment they arrived. The grounds were designed around symmetry, sculptures, and elaborate flower displays. Like much of Białystok, the palace suffered heavy damage during the Second World War, but extensive reconstruction has allowed it to reclaim its place as the city's defining landmark. Branicki never became king, but more than 2 centuries later, his vision for Białystok still lives on in the palace that remains his greatest legacy. Leaving Branicki Palace behind, we made our way towards the center of Białystok. Białystok has long been one of the most culturally diverse cities in this part of Poland. Before the Second World War, Poles, Jews, Belarusians, Russians, Germans, and many other communities helped shape the city's unique character. The war brought not only widespread destruction, but also the loss of many of these communities that had contributed to that rich cultural heritage. Much of the center that visitors see today was rebuilt after the war, giving Białystok a noticeably different character from many of Poland's older cities. Yet, the city remains an important cultural center, something we would soon discover for ourselves. As we walked along Rynek Kościuszki, the city's main street, we passed the Basilica of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary, one of Białystok's most important churches. Unfortunately, a service was taking place at the time of our visit, so we could only admire the building from the outside. Then, we continued on towards Białystok's Old Town Hall. Despite its name, it was never a seat of government. Instead, it was built as a market hall and served as an important center of trade and commerce. Here, the busy cafes and restaurants gave a lively energy to what felt like the social heart of modern Białystok. As we continued through the square, another sound began to draw our attention. At first, it was just faint music and the occasional voice over a loudspeaker. But with every step, the sounds became louder. Curious to see what was going on, We followed the sound until we suddenly found ourselves in the middle of a large open-air festival. Quite by chance, we had stumbled upon Podlaska Oktawa Kultur, an annual festival that celebrates the region's rich cultural heritage through music, dance, and traditional costumes. The festival brings together artists and performers from across Poland and neighboring countries. After learning about Białystok's complex history, this felt like a fitting place to end our visit. The music, languages, costumes, and customs on display served as a reminder that cultural diversity has shaped this region for centuries and remains one of its defining characteristics to this day. This corner of Poland may not attract the same attention as Warsaw or Krakow, but that's part of its charm. Here, history, culture, and daily life come together in ways that feel genuine and unfiltered. For us, it was a reminder that some of the best travel experiences can happen off the beaten path.